All right, YouTube, what's going on? My cats always like to be in the video to start off. That's Haggard. You guys have seen Dobby. But anyways, guys, welcome to another video. My name is Anthony. I hope you are excited for this because I know I am, to talk about the first impressions, initial thoughts on Canelo's and Eddie Reynoso's No Boxing, No Life training gloves, okay? So I have a lot of initial thoughts on this glove. I actually have not trained in it yet, just because I am using other gloves at the moment that I'm really enjoying. So I'm kind of holding off to train on this. Number one, it just looks sick, but also because when I do train in this, I want to be consistent with it for at least a week or two before I can give like any sort of review I'm comfortable with. I want to use it obviously on the mitts, on the bag, and a little bit of sparring, see what my thoughts are. But in today, we're just gonna go over what I think about it. Do I think it's gonna be a good training glove, and things of that sort right off the bat, okay? So I decided to shout out to my friend Francisco, because he actually got me these pairs. So he had them in a 16 ounce right here, as you can see. He had the silver and like sort of aqua blue teal colorway that we have going on here. I must say it is probably one of the coolest looking gloves that I've ever owned. It looks super nice. It looks like it has that metallic finish that I'm sure you've seen on a pair of gloves before, and it just looks nice, you know what I mean? Like when you hang these on a wall or when you have them on your hands, they look really nice. But that said, I do have a lot of thoughts that are kind of worrying, just right off the bat. So I'm actually going to bring my pair of Winnings over here because I want to show you something that I'm going to start the video off with here in a second. But one of the concerns of this specific glove is just how massive this thing is, okay? So it's a 16 ounce, okay? This is my 16 ounce Winning. I'm not sure if you can tell just how much bigger that actually is. Like, it's about almost 1.5 to 2 inches longer than the Winning glove. Not necessarily that that's a bad thing. Like if you have really big hands and like you're just a big guy, I would imagine this would fit pretty nice. But this is like, you gotta remember, guys, I'm 160 pounds. I'm like 5'6". So this is how a Winning glove fits me, right? I have about 1, 2, 3, like maybe 2.5 inches right here, or 3 inches, something like that, of length from my wrist, from the wrist cuff to my elbow, okay? Whereas with this glove, that's like a whole inch less, right? Like if I'm really putting my hand in there, that's pretty much my whole arm. Like, look at that. That's a big glove, dude. So that's kind of the main thing I wanted to start off with right off the bat. That kind of was like a bit worrying. It's a freaking massive glove. Okay, again, I don't think the video does it justice, but in person, this is like significantly longer and bigger than, you know, my Winning training gloves, or just most of the training gloves I have, okay? So just wanted to kind of put that out there right off the bat. But if we are putting that aside, there are a couple of things that do kind of feel and look promising about this training glove, and I guess that's what we're going to get into right now. Number one is that the padding seems very comfortable. This is very reminiscent. It's like a medium density. I never really understood what it meant until I kind of really started to think about it. I'm assuming hard density, you know, when people say that, just means that it's a thicker padding, thicker foam padding. Soft density, obviously something like this, where you can just kind of press into it very easily. Whereas something medium would feel like this, where it's not hard, but it's not necessarily soft. It's just right in the middle. You can kind of see how that looks like, right? From a different angle. Let me put it right here. See that? It's not a lot of pressure required to press in onto the glove. So that's the kind of thing that does seem promising about this, because it's cool to have really soft gloves, but that can be a problem depending on what you want to use it for, right? Because if it's too soft, maybe you'll pierce your knuckles a little bit through the glove a little bit easier, and if you have knuckle problems, that may not be a good thing for you. Whereas if the glove is too hard, some people just don't like how that feels. It takes a lot longer to break in, obviously. So it's just all personal preference. So this is like right in the middle. It's a pretty open glove. It's not the most, it's not the softest glove, but you can see like I have small hands and I can open this glove up really big if you know I really wanted to. But with that said, the main thing that I kind of wanted to share with you, and I found this very interesting. This is very similar to the Everlast MX, the original version, not the 2, but the original Everlast MX. As soon as I put this glove on, the hand compartment, it doesn't feel the same, like the lining is a lot different, but the shape and the way it fits feels the same. The punch surface is very similar to the Everlast MX1 training gloves, which is really odd. I really was not expecting that. If I'm being quite honest, I expected this to be more of a protective glove. I know it's like a Mexican, made in Mexico glove, but I wasn't expecting it to be like a puncher's glove. But then again, I didn't do any like research on it. I just knew that it was a training glove that was out there. I knew it was mixed reviews on it, but me being a Canelo fan and obviously a collector of gloves, and I like to review these things, I wanted to pick up a pair and make my own thoughts on it and just kind of, see what I think about it. But yeah, I've owned a pair of the original MXs. This feels very similar, which is not necessarily a good thing, because I know a lot of people loved those gloves, and I actually had them and I sold them. I actually did not like them too much, believe it or not. I think they were just the punch surface, just something about them I just didn't necessarily like. The way it would hit, connect with the bag and stuff like that, just because of the odd shape. It was very kind of like this, right? Like it's a little more protruded outwards. I don't think this camera does it justice. Maybe this angle you'll be able to see it, but you see how it's kind of like shaped like this, you know what I mean? So when you hit the bag, sometimes that doesn't necessarily feel the best, especially if the hand compartment is so big. It feels like this is for sure hitting, and then if I had to describe it, it's like the padding's right here, it hits the bag first, and then your knuckles push through, if that makes sense. It doesn't hit together. It kind of feels like boom, boom, instead of boom, you're hitting the bag, boom, boom, boom. You get what I'm saying? It kind of feels a little odd. And personally, I don't like that in my gloves because, number one, I can't really feel if I'm hitting the glove, the bag properly because of that. And again, to some of you, this may sound like nonsense what I'm saying, but this is just, again, my kind of thoughts and initial experience on gloves like this. So take that with a grain of salt. I wouldn't, overthink it too much if you do want a pair of these, because if you do want a pair of them, I think are there better gloves that you can get for this glove. This glove is around like $480 to $550, depending on tax, where you get it from and stuff like that. I think, to be honest, it's way overpriced. Way. That was my first initial thoughts. Whenever I got this glove and then I saw the price that, people pay for it, I was like, I would never pay that ever in my life. And it sucks because, I love Canelo and stuff like that. And I can't speak for their fight gloves. Remember, their training gloves and their fight gloves are different. I heard the star of their show is the fight gloves, but not the training gloves. I heard the training gloves were, that's the kind of, mixed reviews that I was hearing about. But anyway, so I put this glove on and I was like, people pay that much money for this. And I was like, there's no shot. There's actually no shot I would ever pay that much for this glove. If I didn't know, obviously if I didn't know, I think I would, right? But feeling this glove, feeling the kind of build quality and everything like that, dude, if I'm being super honest, this is like a $200 glove. It looks really cool. I'm just gonna be honest, and no hate to their team or anything like that. I love their team, but dude, $550 for this is not worth it. Again, this is just my initial thoughts. This is subject to change after I train in it and everything. But this is just based off of the initial fit, the initial feel and everything. This is a very overpriced glove. I think this is worth, I could, see this being worth $200, you know what I mean? Because it looks cool. It's made in Mexico glove, it has Canelo's name on it. But the build, man, it feels really cheap. That's the best words I can put to describe this glove. It feels very cheap. Even the wrist compartment, look at how thin it is. There's no padding. It's very, look at this. It's very floppy. You know what I mean? Look at this. It's a very top heavy glove. It's very heavy on this end. Just kind of folds over. You can kind of see that. There's no wrist protection. You know what I mean? See that? And then this is the Winning glove. Still a little top heavy too, but Winning isn't necessarily known for their wrist protection, but you can see it at least has some padding there. You know what I mean? You can cinch the laces really tight around the wrist. But yeah, so yeah, I was a little like surprised at how these gloves felt. But I am excited to train in them. I do want to train in them, and obviously, you know, be a little consistent with them and get an updated, get an actual review on them, because it's just my first impressions. I can see this being like a 50-50. I think I can either train in these gloves and end up really liking them, or just continue and continue to, you know, remain on the side of this glove is not worth $550, okay? But last little thing I wanted to point out to you guys is that it has so many laces. I believe it has, I'll count right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It has 12 lace holes, okay? Standard gloves have about 6 to 8. So if that kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of just how many laces this glove has, you know? If we're talking about the external appearance, it's sick. Like, the piping on this is awesome. I love the way this glove looks. The neon, the kind of metallic blue here along the laces is just the perfect touch. Around the cuff, man, it's a really nice looking glove, you know what I mean? But obviously, just because something looks cool doesn't mean it's obviously going to perform the best. Thumb is like super like stiff. I don't know if you can see that. It's like stiff. But yeah, so that's just my initial thoughts on the glove. Is that it's cheap. Okay, it looks sick, but it is a cheap glove from what it feels like, you know? Like, look at this, how thin this, it literally just feels like you can just break this glove, you know? Look at that. And this is a 16 ounce, right? So imagine like a 12 ounce or something like that. I don't even think they make these in 12 ounces. I believe they only come in like 16, maybe 14. And then combine the fact that they're super long. I can't even get the glove all the way in because the, I believe, I forgot the term for this, but the this right here, this part around the thumb, when you pull the glove in, like down, it's stuck. My thumb is stuck because I can't, like, you know, pull it down, because then it just pulls my thumb down like this, right? So this is kind of, this is what it feels like. Like, this is getting pulled down and my hand is trying to go in the glove. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to make a review on this. I'm definitely gonna have to train in them and stuff like that. So just keep in mind, this is an initial review. I don't want this to discourage anybody from getting these training gloves. If you've seen another review and you feel like they're worth it for you, then I say worst thing you can do is just try them out. If you don't like them, well, then now you know. Dang, that was a horrible voice crack. But yeah, guys, this has been Ant. If you enjoyed this initial thoughts, just leave a like on the video. It would be greatly appreciated. Maybe share this video with a friend. If you didn't like the video, you can leave it a dislike as well. But yeah, I really appreciate your time. I'm curious to know what you think of this glove. Have you tried it? Do you think you would like it based off of what you are seeing here? Do you have any friends that have used this glove? What are their thoughts on it? But yeah, guys, hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll speak to you soon.